Pleasure to be here, first of all. It really is. I serve on 2 committees now. My bio is a little bit old. I need to update that. I'm on the Public Education Committee, which is a treat to be on that committee, and I'm still on the Ways and Means Committee. So I'm on the Tax Writing Committee, or Non-Tax Writing Committee. And I'm on the Public Education Committee. And let me tell you, first and foremost, I look through everything through the lens of a businessman and a person who highly values the Constitution and freedom. But I'm a businessman, and I sit on that committee, and I look at everything we focus on, what's the cost and what's the benefit. And in public education, you have 5 business models that deliver public education, that deliver education. You have the traditional public school. I'm a fan of the traditional public school. There is the charter school, which is a public school. I'm a fan of the charter school. There is homeschool. I'm a fan of homeschooling. There is virtual schools. I'm a fan of virtual schools. And there are private schools. I'm a fan of private schools. I am an all of the above public education person. I like all 5 models. But here's where I disagree. Parents and students are customers. They're customers. And in the private sector, we look at everything from a customer service perspective. And we also look at it from the perspective that the customer is always right. Because that's what drives accountability. See, you would need virtually no accountability if the customer was always right. Because then they would pick up their business and move somewhere else. That's ultimate and extreme accountability. You understand what I'm saying? And it's that level of the ability to take your business elsewhere that drives innovation. Absent your ability to take your business elsewhere, innovation basically slows or stops. So the secret in the private sector and to making markets work is competition.
Yes.
So I am a fan of all of the above. I want y'all to hear me say, I'm a fan of public schools. We do put a lot of things on them we shouldn't, and we require them to take every student. I get that. That should demand a premium, and we give them a premium. And maybe it should be more, or maybe it should be more. It probably should. But there's other things that need to happen as well to get that more. I'm a fan of public education. Let me be clear. I'm a fan of charter schools, which are public schools. I want the takeaway from here is Bohac is a fan of all of the above. And the person who knows what's best is the parent and student customer to choose the business model that best fits the unique attributes of that student. A government does not know the unique attributes of every customer. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. And especially as we're, I need to tell you all something. I am zoned to go to an academically unacceptable school. I don't know how many legislators can say that they're zoned to go to an academically unacceptable school. And by the way, I represent 3 magnificent school districts. Let me be very clear. Spring Branch ISD is top-notch. Cy-Fair ISD, Mark out there, does an amazing, incredible, outstanding job. Katy ISD, amazing, outstanding, incredible job. I take nothing away from them. They do a great job, and they're great leaders, because any organization, it takes great leaders and core values. That's what drives an organization, leadership and core values. Okay, but I personally am zoned to go to an academically unacceptable school. And because I have been given the privilege to raise my children, it is not right for me to send them to that school, because I want them traveling at a faster clip. I want them to be exposed to other things that I want them to be exposed to, and not exposed to other things. Do you understand? It's not the government's decision.
Amen.
It's not the government's decision. Because education, ladies and gentlemen, is the great equalizer. It is the great equalizer. And our discrimination today has gotten much more sophisticated. It's really not about race anymore or sex. It's much more sophisticated. It's zip code. We don't want those people coming to our school. It's much more subtle. That subtle discrimination is not right either. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to give parents the choice because they know ultimately what's best for that particular student customer. And what does that look like? I don't know what it'll look like this session, but I know that we have to keep carrying the ball a little bit, and a little bit down the road. And we've been doing that. I'd like for us to take a larger stride, a larger step forward in this session. I think this is the session. We need the Latino community out there pounding the drum for reform. We have to have Latinos and African Americans and whites and all the different racial makeups of people, but especially we need the Latino community to lead in this effort because the change will only come when the Latino community leads in the school choice arena. I can tell you hands down, it will not happen until the Latino community leads. And I know, and every child deserves a great education, an education to succeed. That zip code should not trap you in a failing school. And likewise, we shouldn't have faux public school choice either. Okay? People will say, oh, Dwayne, we have school choice, but we really don't. If I want to send my kids to Hunters Creek Elementary School, you think that's capped? Full or not full? Full. What if I want to send them to Memorial High School? You think that's full? Right? So it's not real unless it's real. You see? And then what they'll say is, well, but listen, we have caps to deal with. And we don't want to reconstitute classes. We can't add on rooms, right? So what am I saying? I'm saying we have to give parents real choice in whether or not to send the kids to a different school that they're zoned to go to. And you can't make them go to that school if they don't want to. Because the internal variables, it's up to them. It's not up to me. Because the first rule of customer service in the private sector is the customer is always right. What's the second rule? Even when he's not. See rule number one. The customer is always right. And in this case, the taxpayer, the parent, and that child are the customers, and they should be given the right to choose the retail store, to use a retail store metaphor, that they want to go to. Can you choose the cell phone carrier that you want to carry your phone calls? Do you get to choose the department store you want to go to? Right? Can you choose the type of phone you want to carry? Some people like Android, some people like iPhone. Does the government know what's best, what kind of phone I should choose?
They probably think they do.
Do they know what's best, what type of department store I should shop at? Do they truly know what's best? They don't. Right? Isn't a public education more important than a cell phone? Let that sink in. Isn't public education the great equalizer of humanity more important than a cell phone? I think it is. And with that, that's really all the comments I have. Thank you.